Good morning, good day, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. We're super excited to be here today and talk to you about distributors and growing international business, growing your exports, and some of the tools that are available, especially for advanced manufacturers. Advanced manufacturers is a big group of companies, and we're really excited today because we have the team leader from U.S. Commercial Service for advanced manufacturing, and so it's very exciting about that. So while the last of you are logging on, I see y'all logging on there. That's great. Let me do some quick introductions. Um, as I said, we're very excited to have Molly. Molly Hope is the Global Advanced Manufacturing Team Leader for the U.S. Commercial Service based in Colorado, and she'll tell you more about what that means and how advanced manufacturing companies can really leverage the U.S. Commercial Service and drive their business. And exporting is tough, so it's great to have a big helping hand there for that. So welcome, Molly, and thank you for joining us. And then my name is Susanna Hardy. I'm Chief Content Officer at a company called IBT Online, and we specialize in digital tools. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, really helping B2B companies grow their business using digital tools. So we have an agenda which we've tried to focus. So we split it up into 6 parts. We've tried to focus on those issues which we think are most pertinent for looking, validating, finding, managing distributors for international sales for advanced manufacturers. So I'm going to give a little sort of landscape first, just about sort of where we are at the moment in terms of online and digital sales and where that is, what it looks like, the big trends that are in. And then Molly's going to talk to you about some of the sort of advanced manufacturing things that you could lean on from U.S. Commercial Service, about some of the services provided, some of the big events that are coming up as well. It's really important. And then I'm going to take the mic back and talk more about the distributors, how some of our companies, how some of our clients, and share some of the experience about finding, validating, and managing distributors using online tools. I've put a focus there as well about trade shows, because trade shows are really back with a lot of energy, and trade shows are fantastic venues for finding new distributors and checking in with your distributors. They're a really strong nexus moment for distributors. So we wanted to give that as a focus point. And then just at the very end, a couple of sort of tips, as it were, just some quick notes, some takeaways about sort of do's and don'ts, easy wins for international growth. And I never know how to spell do's and don'ts. Is there an apostrophe? No apostrophe? Anyway, I spelled it the way it's spelled. And then there's time at the end for questions. So, we realize that you guys are seriously busy. You're all running companies. We know that. And you've taken the time out of your day to spend an hour with us, which is, we're grateful for that. So take the time now, sit back, relax. You will get a recording of the webinar tomorrow in your inbox, and you can have the slide deck too if you want it. Just let me know. And ask the questions that you've never had time to ask. So please encourage you to put your thoughts, comments, questions into the chat box, into the cute question box that's there. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about what we call the future of sales. Grandiose title here, but didn't know what else to call it. And for that, I think I'm going to put this very much on our side, where we are coming from. And the we is a company called IBT Online. And we're a digital marketing agency. So everything we do is about online tools. So what we do is we build websites for companies. We build them ecommerce websites or brochure websites or all kinds of different kinds of websites. And we do digital marketing as well. We do LinkedIn, any kind of digital marketing you can possibly think of. And but we're known for 2 things, especially. We're known for helping mid-cap companies, small to mid-cap companies, and we're known for our focus on international. So that's sort of our credibility, as it were, and that's the scope that we're going to be taking this webinar to in terms of talking about online tools. And as I said, sharing some of the experiences we have with some of our clients, some of the things we found about distributor searches. The other thing about us is that we have a strategic partnership agreement with the U.S. Commercial Service. We are the strategic partner for e-commerce with the U.S. Commercial Service. And we also run a series of online global programs. And these are across many U.S. states have used them and have encouraged their companies to use them. And they are well-trodden paths for companies who say, well, I've got this, huge potential in Japan. How do I reach them? How do I nurture those leads? Well, guess what? Get a Japanese website or get Japanese online marketing. And those are those online global programs, which are well-trodden and very often also eligible for STEP grants, by the way, for grant funding from the Small Business Administration. So if you want to learn more about us or about those online global programs, please visit our website. That's enough about the sales side. Some of the big trends we're seeing right now on the online world is this some of the very big trends we're seeing. AI, obviously, it's everywhere, and it is very transformative on the online world. I mean, as an advanced manufacturer, you might be saying, well, hold on, I'm going to see where this AI stuff goes. But on the online world, if you're looking at digital marketing, for example, it is absolutely at the forefront, and it can't be ignored. Some of the other big trends we're seeing is e-commerce. And again, I'll talk about that a bit later, but it's really important, even for B2B companies, to know how that e-commerce is being pulled out, where it's going, and how it's being pulled out. Other things are about some data privacy, compliance, personalization, social commerce. Those things aren't entering so much in today's webinar, but you have them there in that list. And I guess I'm going to start as well, just to sort of complete that picture, looking at a global perspective. Who is on the web today? How much time do we spend on the web? That kind of thing is just this one slide with these numbers on it. We're 8 billion people on the planet. We're 5.6 billion phones, mobile phones. That mobile word is very important, which means you've got the internet every time, walking around with you all the time. And 5.35 billion people using the internet, and nearly the same amount on social media. And what blows me away is that the average time per day, is 6 hours and 40 minutes. So we've got 5.3 billion people spending nearly 7 hours a day on the internet. This is how we spend our lives these days. This is good news if you're a small mid-cap company sitting in the USA and you're looking to grow your sales internationally, because you know where your prospects are. They're online. You know how to reach them through digital marketing. So that is the key from our point of view. This is a really strong enabler for the mid-cap company. And if you're in the US, you say, well, I'm on the internet all the time, and for brands, for researching, all that. But in fact, the US is quite a bit behind a lot of the world. If we look at, for example, brand research and social media use, the US is way behind. So on this big graph that you see, the white line is the worldwide average. The blue arrow is the USA, right? So we are way behind most countries in terms of looking and using the web. So if you're saying, I really want to connect with those guys in Saudi Arabia, where they have 50% more time on the internet and they use social media 50% more than the USA average. And it's kind of the same thing for, well, not quite as dramatic, but it is similar for e-commerce. If we look at this is just B2C, but if you look at weekly online purchases, the US is again behind the worldwide average. And there are some countries which are just miles ahead, especially things like Southeast Asia and things like that, in terms of shopping. The USA is just 12% of global shoppers online, just 12%, you know. So if you say, oh, I'm spending all my time online, no, the rest of the world is spending even more time. And when I talk to manufacturers about e-commerce, the first initial reaction is very often sort of like, oh, no, e-commerce is that's not for manufacturers. No, that's not for engineering companies. E-commerce is for women buying shoes. No. Wrong. No, e-commerce is for everybody. And if you look, this was a big trend, and then COVID hit, and now, 90% of B2B companies have some form of virtual sales model across the world. Okay, it's an amazing study by Statista about B2B e-commerce, which they did at the end of 2023. And if you look in the individual countries, they're really staggering. So this is important for you guys. And again, I think that it's important to realize that e-commerce it doesn't have to be Amazon. It doesn't have to be, some platform, and it doesn't have to have payment gateways and all that stuff. You can do it. What a lot of companies are doing is something what we call build a cart. It's a quote builder. So you go onto a website and someone's the prospective buyer says, oh, I'll have one of those and two of these, and they build a cart similar to line configurators, what we also do for a lot of companies. So they're building a cart and they'll say, I'll have that and I'll have that. I don't know if this mixes together, and then request a quote. So there's no payment gateway and no logistics. It ends with a sales qualified lead that's generated, in a sense. You are, with this system, your salesman then gets in a request a quote from someone they don't know who says, I'd like these things. Do they fit together? And then the salesman, you've got the wrong one here. Let me tell you how to, and so on. So it's a really great hot lead. It's a sales qualified lead in that sense, generated with an e-commerce functionality. And that's, I think, how a lot of manufacturing companies are increasing their sales, because in today's world, the buyers don't want to have to be called on the phone. They don't want to get a phone call. They certainly don't want cold calling. So they're going to search the web for you first. That's how they're going to find you. And when they find you, they want to figure out who you are, what you do, and if you solve a problem for them. And if you solve a problem for them, they want to know, can you do it this way? And then send it to you. And they want to respond by email, especially internationally, especially if you're dealing with Mexicans, Germans, Koreans, Saudis, the world. Okay, so that's a sort of an interesting thing. And I guess for e-commerce, we can do a whole other webinar at some other point about e-commerce for manufacturers. But I think the key for any web asset, for any digital asset, whether it's marketing, e-commerce, whatever it is the relevance to your local buyer persona. So is your local buyer persona, is he finding you the right way? Is he engaging with you the right way? So that's the sort of thing that to have in mind when you're looking at your international sales. Is put yourself in your local buyer persona's perspective, in their side, and make your online assets relevant to that buyer. So in conclusion, this introduction part, before I hand over to Molly, I just want to say, sort of from our point of view, your website combined with digital marketing is a powerful tool for advanced manufacturers to increase their international sales. And from our point of view, it is a really powerful tool if you keep control of it, but give it to your local rep, in other words, your local distributor. You have a website that they can use in their market. And that is a huge tool. Because otherwise, what are they doing? How are they selling your product? Are they going around with little paper brochures? No. They need digital assets to sell your product in their market. And my argument that I'm going to argue it today in today's webinar is that you need to be in charge of that online asset. Don't let your distributor be in charge of it. You need to be in charge of it because it's your brand. And with that, I first want to ask you: are you already doing business internationally? Have you stepped out of your comfort zone? Are you out there with? Thank you for jumping on that so much. There's lots of people jumping onto this. Thank you. Some of you are still thinking about it. I think right now the majority of you are already doing some with a local partner. Oh, no. Some of you are online as well. Good. We're really pleased. Actually, we basically, the majority of you are still thinking about it. But that was really interesting. Thank you. Molly, over to you. Tell us a bit about U.S. commercial service.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Susanna. That was great. And I definitely agree with that, right? Trying to control your brand and doing that through the digital asset is a great way to do that globally. As Susanna mentioned, I'm with the U.S. Commercial Service, which is under the U.S. States, the Department of Commerce. And so what our mission is to overall quick overviews to create jobs in the U.S. by helping U.S. companies sell internationally. So if you have companies that are selling internationally, obviously more money is coming back into our economy, and then more jobs are created back here. So that is our overall goal. And how we do help people is there's many numerous ways, as you can imagine. Let me tell you how we're structured first. Next slide. So we are in embassies and consulates around the world, and we are in the U.S. We're in over 100. We have over 100 offices in the U.S. People like me working in the offices, and then we also have our specialists in the embassies and consulates around the world. And let me back up a minute before I kind of forgot to mention my role, which I think Susanna told the title as the Global Advanced Manufacturing Team Leader. So what I do is I oversee our team, my colleagues that cover advanced manufacturing, right? And that could be anything from like industrial materials to 3D printing, to automation, to robotics, all of those things and more. And so there's probably about like 250 colleagues that cover that industry sector domestically and globally. So in the US, we are here to be a local contact for your company. There is a link that we'll share with you where if you want to find your local contact, you can just go in and put in your zip code and it'll pop up for you to contact. And we are here to assist and help and support. And then I have my colleagues in the embassies and consulates who each embassy and consulate that we are in has an American officer. And then we hire local staff, so in-country specialists. So if we're in France, in Paris, we have people in Paris that know Paris, know the market, know the country, and then also are specialized in that industry sector. So they're able to make the connections. There are boots on the ground. They're able to facilitate that trade. They're able to give advice to U.S. companies on which best way to enter based on the product or service. So that's kind of our big value add is the global network that we do have, our people on the ground. Next slide. And some people might wonder like why I work with the U.S. government. Well, I mean, like I said, we are here to help you. We can help with getting into certain countries if you're having access problems, or we advocate for U.S. solutions. So any kind of advocacy, if you're going for a tender, anything, we do get the ambassador in country, the U.S. ambassador in country involved to advocate for that U.S. solution. We're able to know because of our network, global network, we're able to get you connected with the right people, the right partners. Like we said, we're very focused on mission of advancing U.S. companies, whether it's products or service. So having that also part of your team, especially the local specialists in your area. We are here. We meet with you. We'll come out to your company and meet with you. We'll do virtual chats, anything, and help you along the way. Even help identify what priority markets or foreign countries to target in the beginning, and kind of help you go through that list. Even kind of some of the tedious things you need to know about exporting or selling international. We can guide you through that too. So we are here to consult you on any of your international business development. Next slide. And so these are, like I said, there's many ways we can help you, from helping, someone who's never exported with an export plan, helping them get all that together, or maybe someone who's, a very savvy exporter and been doing it for a while, but maybe wanting a new partner in a certain foreign market, or maybe, is having trouble getting another region. So there's a broad span. Here are a few ways that we do assist U.S. companies. Like I mentioned before, our colleagues are the boots on the grounds. They also do produce market intelligence. So like my colleagues in Morocco, they will produce a report on Morocco. They will go into industry specific particulars about that industry. They'll also, go over how to do business there, caveats there. And then they do get we have these like top market reports where you can look under your industry sector and where has the biggest opportunities and demands for US products or services. And you can look under your subsector. So that's kind of a little helping guide. But we do have these, they're called country commercial guides, and they are on our website at trade.gov. And of course you can, contact your local contact and they can help you with that, which is kind of more about the trade counseling. Like I said, we're very into counseling. We are part of the U.S. government, so we are here. That is free for you to use us, and that is why we are here. We want to advance U.S. companies. One way we do that is business matchmaking. So we'll help you find whether you're looking for a distributor, rep, end buyer, anything like that. We can help you look for it in tandem with the local contact and then the contact at the embassy. And lastly, trade shows and conferences, which I will get a little more into that in a minute. Trade shows and conferences too. Just like Susanna mentioned, trade events are back in full force. The big one going on right now this week, the IMTS in Chicago. And, there's many, many trade shows that we do come in force. We are there to facilitate trade, make introductions. We have programs for U.S. companies to connect you to those foreign buyers. Next slide. And talking about business matchmaking, I did want to go a little bit more in depth, and so you kind of understand what that entitles. So, say you are, say Malaysia is a target market for you. Well, and we've maybe decided it, or come about for that, however way that has been decided. Myself and like my colleague at the embassy in Malaysia, and then your company we would get together, have a discussion. They would hear about in Malaysia, they would hear about your company, and they would go ahead and give advice, the best way to answer it, what kind of maybe partner you're looking for. Like I said, it could be any kind of partner, from rep and buyer to distributor, agent, and typically, an in-country distributor and agent is the best way to go. So you do have boots on the ground. And what we'll do is my colleague in Malaysia will go out to the market in Malaysia and find companies that meet the criteria of your company's criteria that we went over, plus is interested in your company. And then they will put together a day of meetings at the embassy for you to come over and meet these potential partners and hopefully find a match. So this way, you're actually meeting with people that are interested in your company and meet the criteria of the potential partner you're looking for. Next slide. And we have found companies usually have great success in that. And going back to the trade shows, I just wanted to highlight just a couple of advanced manufacturing events coming up. And so these trade events have partnered with the U.S. Department of Commerce. And so what that means is we are in partnership with them. We are there to add value and support U.S. companies. One of the ways we do that is my colleagues at all those embassies and consulates bring foreign buyer delegations. They will bring a delegation. So they will be at the show. Local U.S. field colleagues will be there too. And then what we do is we make those connections to the U.S. company with the foreign buyer through different programs, through informal networking. There are many ways we can do that. Just if you are going to any of these trade shows, thinking about them, reach out to us and we will get you connected so that you can take advantage of these services for U.S. companies at trade shows. The MD&M West is a manufacturing and medical healthcare event. So it kind of crosses that. As you guys know, advanced manufacturing crosses over a lot of different industries. And so this one is focusing on how that crossover is. The JEC world is very into industrial materials and composites, something that we have seen has been gaining a lot of steam. I definitely think U.S. companies have those products and can take advantage of this uphill that we're seeing in that subsector. ProMat is one in Chicago that is material handlings, and it's not just material handlings and distribution, but you will see a lot of that robotics and automation and those kind of things there. Next slide. And lastly, we have Hanover Messe, which another one, like I said, we do. The other one was in Paris. This one's in Germany. So we do support international trade shows, which are also a good investment too if your company is targeting that region, because all those people are already there. You're going to probably find more of those foreign buyers or partners in country that you go to. And then Automate, which if you guys haven't heard about, Automate A3 is the association that backs that show, and it has been growing and growing year after year, so much that this year will be the last year in Detroit because they don't have enough room. But they are bringing in all that new technology. So it is all about all that automation, robotics, and everything that you guys are seeing and hearing, and AI. So it seems like, you know, with all the companies are there, or if not, you should be there. So let us know if you're coming. We are definitely focusing on that show, and we'll have a lot of international buyer delegations at that show. And lastly, I think I didn't mention, but we do the commercial service. We do trade missions. We do trade missions for where we bring, like, you know, about 20 or so companies on a trade mission. That one on that previous slide mentioned the one we're doing to Turkey and Poland coming up in next September, so in a year. But we really see the demand, and there's a big demand and a big opportunity for U.S. companies in both of those markets. And so what we'll do is we will take companies you can apply to be on the trade mission. We will do business-to-business matchmaking in both countries for you, very customized on your own. Then, of course, there's a lot of other activities, relevant activities and events part of the trade mission. So there's just a few of the things we do. And one thing we do is a lot of education, like we're doing with Susanna today. So you saw the last slide that had my contact information on, so feel free to reach out to me for any of that. But as I said, I'm focusing on advanced manufacturing and just seeing how we can expand U.S. companies globally. So yeah, thanks for the time. And Susanna, let's hear what you've got next. I can't remember from the agenda, but I know it'll be good.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, Molly. We wanted to ask as well if everyone's already used some of the, would you like to learn more? Have you already used it? Would you like to learn more about U.S. commercial service? In which case we can point you in the right direction in terms of websites and things, and yeah, lots of requests for more information. That's fantastic. And I think Cindy's putting in the chat box some of the links, because actually, Molly, we have Q&As at the end, but we have one question now, which is maybe a quick one, which is there a place where I can find the prices for all the services?
Yes, so we are, so for the most part, what we're doing is free for U.S. companies because we are the U.S. government. So it's
Amazing.
part of, right, part of what you're putting their taxes back in. So you might as well take advantage of it. There are certain things when it comes very customizable where there is a small fee, I mean, anywhere from like 100 to 900, but that's more for a cost recovery for the embassy. And if you recall, Susanna mentioned these STEP grants, which are actually administered through your state, and they can pay for that fee. It's like 50% or 75%. It depends on your state. But do reach out, and I can connect you to the people in your state that do administer those grants for sure. But yeah, most of what we do, all these connections, all that stuff at trade shows, I mean, there's no cost to U.S. companies. So there's no reason not to take advantage of it.
I mean, yeah, well, yeah, amazing. Okay, I'm going to jump onto, but we got some more questions for you later, Molly, if that's okay.
Sounds good. I'll be here.
Thank you. So just let's talk now about distributors and that whole thing. And the distributors, that's how most U.S. companies go abroad initially. That's their first steps abroad. They won't open a subsidiary or anything else. They're going to go via a local in-market partner. And the challenge is to find them, to validate them, and to manage them, because that's not always so easy either. So, and the first thing I think I want to bring up is just, it's probably an obvious thing, but it's worth reiterating: your brand. What is the single most valuable asset that your company owns? It's your brand. And the two things that work for your brand, there are two big things that your brand does. One, it shows the world who you are, right? It shows them who you are, what you do. If they're looking for a solution to a problem, they will go and find, and then they'll look at the brand. They say, who are these people? What do they do? Where are they located? Can they fix my problem? They will evaluate that. They'll evaluate your brand. And so the way that you portray yourself, the way that you portray your brand is very important. And for distributors as well. Good distributors want to go with good brands. And if your brand is so important, you don't want your distributor owning your brand. And this is a theme we'll come back to. The other point about your brand is that it is the single best defense you have against price erosion. You can name a better price if you have a stronger brand. Okay, I'm going to now take you through a case study about brand management and distributor ownership, distributor management. It is not an advanced manufacturing company. I apologize in advance, but it's one of the only companies we have which has all aspects of distributorship, and that's so it's so holistic that I wanted to use this as a use case, as a case study. So the company's called Amazon. It's a U.S. company, and we've worked with them for many years. Their U.S. company, as you can see, has a very strong brand, and it has an e-commerce functionality. And so this is what the company is. They have expanded internationally, and if we look at some of their international websites, you'll see, for example, some of the ones we've built for them and managed for them: Africa, France, Europe, Latin America, India, the Middle East, back into the USA. There's some other ones as well, which are slightly hybrid. They're not on this flag, like Korea. What's interesting here is that the look and feel of the website, no matter what country it is, feels the same. The brand is instantly recognizable, whether you're in Korea or whether you're in the Middle East, or anywhere in between. And in each case, the company owns its online real estate. So it owns its URL. It's Amazon.fr for France, Amazon.kr for Korea, and so on. So that's very important. And I want to stress that a few times, because one of the things we find is that companies sometimes give that expensive online real estate for free to distributors, and that's a bad thing to do. They have also, this company has different strategies in different parts of the world. In Africa, they are just starting out. So they're starting to find distributors. So their Africa website has become a distributor, is built slightly differently than the others. You see the top level navigation bar is a little bit different. It's become a distributor is center. This is the center thing that they want to do in Africa, because they don't have a network yet in Africa. So they're building that out. And so become a distributor is the central, most important aspect of their sitemap, of that top navigation bar. In the other countries, you saw why Amazon, their products, services here, and all those other things. And at the very end, contact us or find the distributor. Here, it's become a distributor, right in the top. And if you click on that page, on that link, you click on that, you come to a dedicated page all about a distributor. Why it's a good thing to become a distributor. You can move up to Amazon, take your business to the next level. And there's a map that shows where they already have distributors, they found in the last 18 months, and where they're still looking for distributors today. And so that there's a dedicated page, and it's got all sorts of things in it and assets in it that you can download and look at and have. And that's a way to find distributors. So if you have digital marketing working for you to generate interest, you have that page then on your website for potential distributors to really look at. And it's an engaging page. It's all about the distributor. It's not so much about, what does Amazon bring to that distributor? What are the benefits of becoming a distributor for Amazon? And you'll note as well, it is Amazon already has an Africa website. They're giving assets to their distributor to help their distributor. So that's, I think, one of the first things you want to think about. Next is how to support your distributor network. And in Mexico, for example, they have a very different aspect. In Mexico, they've been there for a long time already, and they've built various levels of distributorship. They have a sort of super distributor, and he manages sub-distributors. And Amazon help this distributor company to find sub-distributors. Again, through their website and through online marketing, which we manage. And again, it's a dedicated page on that website, on the Mexican website, and on through social media as well, and through blogs and LinkedIn and well, Mexico is very much Facebook and WhatsApp, but very engaged engaged on their website, very engaged in online marketing to find sub distributors. And again, a whole form to fill out to try and figure out if that's the right kind of distributor, a dedicated form to fill out just to become a sub-distributor. And then a map which shows you where their existing distributors are, where there are still some holes. You can zoom in and find individual towns, which allows people to buy the product, but also potential distributors to say, where is there a hole? Is there a geographic space for me in that in that country? For that, all that on the web, and all that sort of actively managed by us for the in-market distributor to help them find sub-distributors and then manage those sub-distributors. And I wanted to say, how then do you validate? So let's say you have a potential distributor there going in and saying, okay, I'd like to become a distributor. How do you validate that? And again, using your website, you can have forms to fill out. And it's not like a contact form. A contact form, for a prospective, if you've got a prospective client, your contact form is as light as possible. It's like, what's your name? What's your company? How do I contact you? Because you want it to be really easy for that prospective client to contact you. I don't want to fill out lots of things, but for a distributor, there's a validation process. And you can ask a lot of questions. You can have a long form for that and really dig down and dig into, well, what is your existing website? What's your experience? What's your motivation on this? And so on. And here you have I just took some screenshots of their US website where they have a very, very long page about just, becoming a dealer in the US and Canada. And then on some of their international ones, for example, I think this one is, it's actually the Middle East. But anyway, international Amazon distributors, that very long list of saying, okay, I want to have this, or I want to, what countries am I in? What am I doing here? What's my experience in it? And you can really then help you validate and understand those distributors so that you can weed out the ones which are most likely to help you for that. Managing your distributors once you have them. So now you've found them, you've validated them through various techniques, and now you're going to manage them, especially if you have more than one in one country, or if you start having a network across various countries. There's two things we would recommend. The first is to put your resources for those distributors in one place. The best place is a place online, like a distributor portal that you can attach to your website. And then you can give them access to that portal. And in that portal, they will have the price sheets, the specs, the data forms, all the information they need. And all the distributors have the same information at the same time. No favoritism, no, I've lost this, that, the other. No, it's all there in one place, available for all the distributors at the same time through a portal on your website. That's to support them and support your distributors. Make sure it's all and in this case that I've given, you could even, say which language it is. As a company that does a lot of international business, so they have a lot of different data sheets in different languages and so on. But that's just them. You could just have everything in English if you're at that level. How do you then monitor them? Again, using online tools. And in this case, we help monitor the distributor activity for companies. In this case, we're looking at we have the Google Analytics for each of the distributors, and we're looking to see how active, where they're getting leads, how they're active, what are they doing, and so on. And then we could report back to the company and say, these distributors are doing really well, this one's kind of like slow. And that's how you monitor them. You can monitor them on their online presence. So you got your sales sheet on one side, and then you say, well, sales are, if they say, well, sales are slow, well, why are they slow? Oh, it's the market. Okay, it might be the market, but you're not doing anything either. So and you can actually have that visibility using online tools to monitor your distributors. So there you go, finding them, validating them, supporting them, and monitoring them, managing your distributors. I wanted to now ask you a little bit about, if you have any interest in online websites, e-commerce, enabled or not. Let us know, and we can, send you some links or point you in the right direction, or some videos or some assets if you want to learn more. Also about our online global programs. Again, let us know if you have an interest in finding out more about those online global programs. As Molly was saying, they are funded by or supported by the STEP grants, which are state specific. So each state will decide what they're going to do with that or not, but you could even get grant funding for them. Anyway, thank you very much for that. Let's end that poll. I wanted to focus in on trade shows. As I said earlier, trade shows are something that are really important for distributors. A great place to find distributors, and a great place to also spend time with your distributors. If they've got a local trade show and they've got your booth, go and visit them, spend some time with them. Because guess what? Trade shows are back. In all their glorious crowded ways, they are back, but they're different. And from our point of view, they're more tech. People are more selective about them, and people are expecting a lot more from them these days. And the assets you need to bring to a trade show are different than you used to. Yeah, you still bring your business cards or whatever, but people don't really want to walk away with a brochure or a catalog. What they want to do is take your website or a QR code, or they would say, okay, WhatsApp me with it. It is a very different experience these days. They are also a lot more hybrid. You will have online events during the trade shows. So get ready for that. A couple of things we do for our clients, which might be of helpful here. A trade show, in terms of its preparation, starts a good, I'd say 3 months before the trade show. And it really is a dedicated event that you put on the table and say, because trade shows are expensive. So there's not, Molly mentioned that there are step grants for them, but they're still expensive. Especially if you start saying, okay, there's the hidden costs of management, time, and opportunity costs, and so on. So you really need to invest in them. So, 3 months before, start thinking about, what do I do on my website? Do I need a dedicated landing page for it? Where are we posting this? Social media. Videos are fantastic tools for trade shows. An image speaks 1,000 words or whatever it is. So they're very, very impactful. And then you're emailing. How are you reaching out to your prospects, to your existing clients, your existing distributors, your prospective clients, your prospective distributors? Those all need different funnels. A little reminder also, tell everybody inside your company. We're always amazed how after the event, say, oh, you went to that trade show? Oh, you should have dropped in and seen so-and-so. I didn't know you were going. Okay, let's talk about a dedicated landing page. When you're doing a good trade show, we'll have social media going out there, to blast it and to get some buzz and get some awareness. Where are they going then? Okay, you say, hey, we're going to this trade show. Follow this link to what? Build a dedicated landing page which you put onto your website about the trade show. And that's something you're going to be then linking to your LinkedIn account, to your any social media account, and that's your dedicated landing page. And you can reuse it and modify it and change it for other events. So it's not, it's a matter of reusing existing assets. It demonstrates, really, it gives your company a lot of credibility. It makes you much more a thought leader in that whole trade show experience. It allows you to say really, really good things about what problem you're solving for your prospective clients. And it's a fantastic way of preempting visits and getting validated visits to your booth. Really easy, super easy call to action and get in touch forms are really essential. So the way to get in touch with you has been super easy. So if you're going to Mexico, it's a WhatsApp. If you're going to, that sort of thing. So really making sure that you're tailoring it for the event as well. The social media, during the event itself, you have that bespoke landing page. You're also doing a lot of social media during the event. And again, those videos become very important. And it's, a good iPhone these days will get you good enough video coverage to post on your LinkedIn and just say, look, this is me setting up my booth. Hey, this is me. I'm at the trade show. Come and see me. Come and visit me. This is me getting off the plane. Whatever it is, make it animated, make it real, and post it. And that'll help your networking immensely. And you can even geolocate that networking during the actual event. And then just a little tip, don't go alone to a trade show. You're going to need 2, even 3. If you could possibly have 3 people minimum, that'd be fantastic. And go to every single party, because that's where the networking happens. Your booth, it's got to be an engaging booth. And your QR code, don't forget it on your booth. The QR, people walk past your booth, you're busy, they don't want to pick up a brochure, they want your QR code so they can get to that landing page, that dedicated landing page, or to your website, and they can figure out who you are for that. So don't forget your QR code. That's something that American companies often do forget about. In other countries, it is absolutely the norm, especially in Asian countries. Post-event strategy, that's actually where a lot of the work happens. It's terrible because you're exhausted after the trade show. Harness your CRM. Make sure that your CRM is prepared in advance. That's part of the preparation you've been doing before the trade show, is also segmenting your database, creating email flows to reach out post the event. So when you come back and you got, I have these 300 people to contact, how do I do it? Well, here's my flow 1, here's my flow 2, here's my flow 3. And then they just get sent out. So, you're home, and the following Monday, those emails go out. They're ready and done, dusted. And then leverage the content from the event. Just say, okay, here's the event. I'm going to now, I'm going to say, we had a great time. Here's what I learned. You become, again, that thought leader. And all those things also are going to help you grow your business internationally and with your distributors. Some quick do's and don'ts and easy wins for this. I thought we just put this out there just to help you, just sort of round out before we stop for questions. I guess from our point of view, from the online point of view, you really need to make sure that your assets, for example, just starting with your website, that they're really working hard for you. And just have a look at your website critically and say, is it, at very least, is it mobile enabled? Can you see it on a mobile phone? Because most of the world are looking at you on mobile phone internationally. What about the load speeds? Anything slow these days, people go, no. Is it optimized? Are the keywords correct? Are the alt tags, metadata, are that correct? Is the imagery good? Imagery is so important on a website. And is it easy to navigate? What's the user experience? So those are the key things, I would say, the key sort of 5 areas that you want to make sure your website is working hard for you. Are there sort of some easy wins? as it were, if you're looking on the international side, whether you're looking for a distributor or not, just some easy wins for your international online assets. The first is to value those URLs. That's that digital real estate we talked about in the beginning. So mycompany.com is your URL in the USA, mycompany.fr in France, or .com.mx in Mexico. Don't give those to your distributor. Those are expensive, valuable real estate. That's what you control. You build something that your distributor can then use for you. You're designing and building assets that your distributor and tools that your distributor can use in their market. But don't give them that URL. Don't say, if they say, oh, I'll build a website for you, what's the URL? Fine, they take it. That's very valuable real estate. You just hand it over for nothing. So don't let don't let things that belong to your company be taken over by someone else. On your US website, try and think and say, okay, we might be made in Kentucky, but we sell globally. Showcase that, highlight that, shout that. That's fantastic. Good news. Show that you can work internationally, that you have international aspirations, and that you have also international reach, that this is something you can do. So if someone does stumble onto your US website from Mexico, or Japan, or the UAE, they say, oh, you know what, these guys can solve a problem for me. But if they just see a very, very US focused one, they'll go, well, they've got the solution I want, but I'm not sure they're able to deliver it to me here in Germany. So put it on your website. Get in touch, those call to actions, those forms, super, super easy. Short, concise, easy. And then, make sure that you're engaging in social media with imagery, through LinkedIn, through just get out there. Just, choose one or two platforms that you're going to use and make sure that you're regular engaging with it. And of course, highlight those wins. And then the last point is focus. You don't want a shotgun approach to international. You want to focus. You want to say, what are my low-hanging fruits? We are lucky to have 12% of our sales going to Canada. We can increase that because we've never we've never marketed in Canada. We know there's an appetite because we get these things out of the phone, falling out of the sky for luck. Well, let's invest. Focus on it. Focus on your top markets. Don't spread yourself too thin. Because as I said, exporting is tough, but you've got some good helping hands with people like the U.S. Commercial Services. So some takeaways and next steps. I don't know if we have there's that one. Sorry. Empower your sales and marketing team. I guess this is the other key that I, especially about your website and your online marketing. But I think what I'd like to say is what I advise is to bring those online assets into your meetings. And I'll put some questions on this slide to maybe stimulate some thought. If you're going to a trade show, well, make sure that your website says that. Put it on your LinkedIn account. Use it, say it. If you've got a hot lead, a sales qualified lead, a strong lead, well, then send them a link with client testimonials. Show them how well you've done already. Maybe you send them a blog about how your advanced manufacturing tools solve a problem for them. So, just to say, make sure that you're using those online assets in a regular way. And how I like to think of it is, think of them as people. Think of your web as a person. Think of your online marketing as a person. Bring them into the teams. Say, what effect does that have on online marketing? We have a new product launch. What happens to our website if we have a new product launch? What happens to our online marketing if we have a new product launch? So some questions for you there. Right. Now, if you want to learn more about our online global programs, let us know, and we can send you some information or point you in the right direction. As I said, these are um, well-trodden paths, and they're quite state specific because very often you can get grant funding from the STEP grants or from other grants and things. So if you'd like to know more about them, and thank you very much for that. You were very enthusiastic. Thank you. So takeaways, next steps, where we're heading to the finale. I guess from our point of view, from the point of view of a digital marketing agency, why do exporters need online business tools? Remember those numbers I said in the beginning, 8 billion of us on the planet, 5.5 billion people spending nearly 7 hours a day on the internet. Crazy. Uh, so make sure your assets, your online assets, are working for you and doing their best they can to help you grow your sales. For that, you have a lot of helping hands. American exporters can rely on organizations like the U.S. Commercial Service. If you're advanced manufacturing, you need to connect with Molly. She is the team leader for the entire advanced manufacturing sector. And she is the sort of she could point you in the right direction for all of those teams, for those meetings, for those assets, for the events that they're doing. So you've got this amazing resource, and Molly said that most of it is for free. What is there not to like? In other resources, there's a lot of research as well on the International Trade Administration page about e-commerce in particular, and that's together with our strategic partnership with the E-commerce Solutions Center and U.S. Commercial Service. So there's lots of stuff there about that you can download for free. And if you get even more resources hungry, then you can go to our website, which is ibt.onl, and check out the resources. Again, a lot of those things are for free that you can download and learn more about online assets and all of that. And with that, we're going to go to questions, Q&A. There's a lot of questions actually. Molly, I'm going to field one or two questions for you, if that's okay to start with.
Yeah.
One question I have is, does U.S. Commercial Service help validate distributors in market partners?
Yes. Yes, we definitely do due diligence, and we can do a due diligence report. We have a term for it, but it is a due diligence report, and what that obviously encompasses is all the financials, all that kind of stuff you want to know before you sign a potential partner. But it also includes a visit from staff at the U.S. Embassy to verify it, because it is hard in other countries, to actually. So they will actually in person verify the potential partner. And
Wow.
yeah, so it's a really great one to do. And of course, the specialist in country at the embassy is going to be, it's working with you, the company, and going back and forth, and it's a good flow. And before anyone signs a potential partner, we obviously recommend a due diligence on that potential partner, and this one checks all the boxes, and it's coming from the U.S. government, so it is vetted.
Fantastic, amazing. And again, what a resource to have. That's fantastic. A couple of little questions for me. A lot of them are quite a little bit technical, and I'm going to park those, and I'll answer them specifically by email, by return email, because they're very specific to individual people. But just a couple of ones about their websites that we build. Yes, we don't have we can build them in any market. We've built them in. I guess we've never been asked to build for anything in North Korea, but we've
That's an
never.
embargo country, so you can't really sell there anyway. So you probably
Yeah.
don't want one.
Why would you want one there? But no, we don't have any restrictions on the markets. We can build a website for. As I said, and another one is like, how long does it take? A typical website for us takes between 3 and 4 months, depending if it's e-commerce enabled or not. Another question I have is what format they're built on. They were built mostly. We're we're platform agnostic, but our preference is probably WordPress because it's It's the most volatile, it's the most versatile, easiest to use, and so on. Um, mm, to participate, another one for you, Molly, to participate in U.S. commercial service events, do your products have to be 51% U.S. content? And how do we determine the U.S. content level?
Yes, that is correct. Definitely the 51% US content, right? Work as the US government, we don't want to, help a company that's just like importing something from like China and then just resending it out, right? Because that's not really helping our economy. So we definitely want to be helping our economy, but we understand, right? Not everything can come from the US. There's a lot of some things the US doesn't even make, or they're better, or less expensive around the globe for certain components and stuff like that. And the way you look at it is because we work with technology companies, right? Even within advanced manufacturing, like robotics, automation, software. So it's the entire company is 51% US content. So, and the way that we do that is self-certification. So there's a self-certification you do just to certify that your company is 51% US content.
Right. There's a couple of questions about service sector rather than advanced manufacturing. This particular webinar has been about for targeted the advanced manufacturing. I understand that some service companies service the advanced manufacturing sector. Yes, IBT Online can do the same things for service companies as for manufacturers. And Molly, I presume the same.
Yep, I cover every sector, so in product or service, just like she
Yeah,
is.
absolutely. Yeah. No problem with the service sector. And that was for Sunil. We are out of time. As I said, the other questions are quite specific, and we'll do that by email, and either Molly or myself, depending on who the question is, will respond to you. I wanted to thank you all for joining us today, and as I said, you will be getting a recording on tomorrow, I think. For your weekend listening enjoyment. Uh, Molly, thank you so much for joining me today and talking to advanced manufacturers about distributors and about international about growing their international sales. And thank you all so much. We really appreciate the time you've taken with us, and we hope that it's been helpful to you. Thank you all so much. See you at the next trade show or event or online. Thank you all very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.